Today in Breaking Bitcoin, a very powerful sell signal just fired on Bitcoin, pointing Bitcoin's price down to the 4,000 level regions. Is this signal to be believed, or for once in their lives, are the talking heads correct that Bitcoin's price is 20K bound end of year? Stay tuned for our analysis on this. Also, the Hex Snapshot is tonight at the daily candle close. Individuals who have Bitcoin in an address where they control the private keys will have the ability to free claim their Hex tonight. While we will be making a dedicated video later on in the week about our full thoughts from Cracking Cryptocurrency on the Hex project, we will be going over our initial thoughts today. All this and more in today's exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin.
I'm Cap.
I'm Carlos.
And we're with Particle.io, and this is Breaking Bitcoin.
Hey guys, welcome back to another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Of course, today is Monday, December the 2nd, 2019, foul year of our Lord. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic wherever you happen to be tuning in from, and whether you are watching us from across YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook Live, or on Roku with the Investor News Channel app. If you guys would like to support the show, would like to support what we're doing here, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us if you're watching over there on Twitch or DLive, and share the link to the video and the live stream around to your family, your friends, hell, even people you don't like. We're not that picky around here, but whatever you do, make sure to engage in the live chat and let us know your thoughts as we carry through the analysis and the price action and going over all the daily scuttlebutt. But before the daily scuttlebutt, yes, I want to give a huge introduction to the Cracking Cryptocurrency community, to all the members who joined the premium group over the weekend from Friday, obviously, until today. Very pleased to have you guys in our community. We will be doing a few onboarding sessions this week. I'm going to make myself available right after the show today to in the VIP live chat channel to walk some of the new members who are available over the introductory materials, point them in the right directions, go over their new features, go over their new indicators, make sure that they have access to all the tools and that they know how to use them. Mostly, I'll just be pointing them toward the documentation and the videos that we've already created, the introductory information that we've already created for the members, just in case they happen to miss that, and going over any initial questions that they may have. But if you did miss your chance over the weekend, it is, as I have been told, Cyber Monday. Yet another opportunity. We'll get into that later. I was going to go into as a financial minimalist, I was going to go into a kind of a cracked rant about how retailers, make this huge, and it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Anyways, if you guys missed your opportunity to sign up for the premium group over the weekend or on Black Friday, you guys do have an opportunity today. The coupon code will expire, I believe, right after the show at 2 p.m. So if you guys have been considering joining the group, considering trading with us, considering getting access to our analysis, to our tools, learning our rules, learning how we trade, going through your strategy building course with us through Pathways to Profit, you guys can still go to the website, crackingcryptocurrency.com. You can click on either the trading services tab or the plans and pricing tab to see the information. The coupon code for 30% off is still valid, CCBF19-30. You guys can't miss it. It's right on that site. That code is still working. So if you guys wanted an opportunity to get in on that, you guys can. And I'd be pleased to welcome any new members into our community. Again, it's been a really exciting weekend. Really pleased to meet some of the new guys coming in. And again, I'm going to make myself available after the show to get you guys a little bit more established and a little bit more familiar with the tools that you now have access to. All right. With that being said, guys, we've got a fantastic show for you guys today. Website Discord integration obviously is complete. So if you are a member of our group, you can, of course, go to the website and log in. That is going to be your portal in the future when we put the Online Learning and Trading Academy onto the website, as well as the online forums. That's stuff we're going to be rolling out over the next few months. I'm really excited to start working on that. I want to give a huge shout out to my team, Scott, Ben, everybody who made that possible and put the work in. You guys are absolutely fantastic. The next Crypto Currently interview Interviews and Insights with Silvio Macaulay, the founder of Algorand, is coming out very soon. I had hoped that it would be done earlier. It's going to take a few more days potentially to get it done, but I'll be getting that uploaded to you guys as soon as possible. With that being said, let's thank today's crypto comment giveaway sponsor, Spectre Security Coin. Make sure to go check them out at spectresecurity.io. They are specialists in security, whatever your needs may be, especially if you have a crypto project of your own. They're the guys to call. And we're going to do what we do on every single show and give away some crypto. So let's head over to the live scene, give away some crypto for a random YouTube commenter, and get into today's price action. Let's go. And here we are at the YouTube random comment picker. We are going to randomly select a winner. Crypto Caveman says, "You have a Russian spy in the group." Is it you, sir? Is it you? I want the truth, and I can handle the truth. But thank you so much for your comment, my friend. Get a hold of me in the Discord, JustinWise5696, and I will gladly tip you some crypto. Oh, what's that? Oh, yes, slightly new layout, guys. You know, I've been wanting to consolidate the information as best as I can, because we do go over a lot of different, besides regular PTP strategy in our trading, our pathways to profit course, we do go over other concepts as well, concepts that I'm currently working on, putting that information out there and getting those tools and information in your hands. So we're going to be consolidating different methods, and I think a better approach on the live stream to monitoring live price action, just to make the show a little bit more interactive and go over different strategies of ours, go over different things and topics that we cover in the course. One of those things that we haven't covered is going to be what's located in the top right bar, which is going to be Rinko, which is great for trend directional. Obviously, we have our regular PTP on the left-hand side, monitoring the 2-hour chart, looking for those signals and setups. And down in the lower right-hand corner, we do have our VPSV scalping system that we go over in the course. It's actually one of the first courses that we covered in the premium trading group, VPSV scalping combined with VWAP. All right. And Heikinashi for trend, as well as time transformation, which, again, just for those, and I know a lot of guys in the group are already utilizing it for this function, for those who have gone over both the VPSV video and the time transformation video and utilize time transformation. But again, just looking for intraday setups, you cannot really go wrong with time transformation. If we just go over and look at the signals that it's given over the last couple of days, here is a confirmed sell signal right up here at the top, right about 74.07, taking us all the way down to the buy signal at 7,200. We have another sell signal over here at 7,300 for a nice little dive down to the 7,250. So overall, quite good. Not getting a clear signal intraday right now, just consolidating around the point of control. We did have a fairly interesting maneuver over here this morning when I first woke up and was watching the charts. We seem to be having a breakdown below VWAP, testing the point of control, but that was a massive screw you candle. Not a massive screw you candle as we've seen on the dailies, but for the intraday traders, obviously this one taking place at 1400 UTC a few hours ago. This was a pretty nice fake out, right? Grabbing liquidity below, grabbing liquidity above, and then just price continuing on its consolidation before finally giving us a nice little downtrend here for about an hour. Nice little downtrend here for about an hour. But overall, not a very exciting day. Not a very exciting day. Overall on the daily, let's go kick over into the daily over here. There we go. Let's go kick over to the daily over here. Again, we do have just 3 daily candles of downturn. On the daily, we are coming and testing and touching and flirting and kind of massaging gently the 20-period Hall moving average, which many are utilizing as their baseline. Of course, some are utilizing the 13 EMA, some are still using the 30-period Donchian, all of which are fantastic choices. It just comes down to whichever one you're going to apply consistently. So the setups that we can be looking for on the daily here are obviously going to be a little bit of a reversal baseline bounce, looking for those fills again here around the $7,200 area. Previously, we had been targeting $7,350 for a reversal bounce. We ended up pulling those orders over the weekend, did not end up getting those fills at $7,350. In fact, on the monthly close, and we're going to cover the monthly signal here in just a little bit. On the monthly close, we did actually go full short, hedged completely up our capital in active short positions as we speak, catching the majority of the down movement from yesterday's candle and today's, obviously, because we did go short on the 30th. So overall, overall price, again, in a, I think, as I talked about last week, I talked about this last week. I talked about not being bullish. Last week, I talked about not being bullish. I talked about how we are still in a reactionary movement off of the lows, how this was a reactionary buyback. Obviously, if we go over, that movement could have been captured utilizing Renko in a baseline, because we do see that the Renko trend does flip bullish right around the 69.25 area. So again, one could have grabbed on that because you do have two confirmation signals there. A, Renko turning bullish, flipping and printing a bullish brick, and also printing a brick above your baseline. Your baseline does work very well on Renko. Of course, you could have been utilizing lower time frame PTP. We covered this as well. 4-hour signaling, 2-hour signaling. You could have gone with the, I need to change my Mink settings here real quick, just a moment. This is going to be green. So that like a light green and a red. There we go. Sure that our settings 1010 EMA. Okay, good. And again, you could have been using the one confirmation. Actually, it would have been a two confirmation because you are closing above the baseline and Minx is giving you a buy signal. We talked about that as well, but again, utilizing low risk because that's only two positive indicators. Of course, your CCI and your Wadatar explosion would have kept you out. But again, another thing that we talked about over the weekend is the fact that, hey guys, listen, we don't want to be too excited about going long in this area. We never did flip bullish the entire week. We were very consistent about that last week. We remained fairly neutral. I remained of the opinion that we are still in a macro bearish trend, that has not been that has not been alleviated, that nothing has changed insofar as the macro trend is concerned. And overall, we were right. And I do feel justified in that because, again, just at that moment around this candle right here, I know that I know from monitoring sentiment, monitoring my interactions with the traders in the group, on this candle, this is kind of that candle where people are like, oh my God, like we're just going to keep going long. It's just going to keep up. Like, what are we doing? Not in a long. Oh my God, like we're missing the trade. We need to go long. And of course, just when you start to feel that way is almost always the worst time to go long. There are specific moments in time when we are in a clear established uptrend and those kind of sentiments make sense. When we are in a clear established uptrend, just barreling on upwards as Bitcoin likes to do, yes, just about any time is a good time to buy. Buy every dip, buy it up, go long, buy the tops of candles. Who cares? Price is trending to the upside. It'll pay off eventually, right? Until the moment that it doesn't, which is generally right at the end of the trend. But when we've been doing nothing but drifting sideways and down overall for the majority of the last half of this year, you want to be very cautious with having those feelings. I mean, just about every time from, let's say February to June, anytime you just said, oh, price is just up and up and up and oh yeah, buy the tops of candles. Who cares? You're an established uptrend. But it has been a very different market structure since following June and into the back end of the year. So we need to be cognizant of that and be very cautious and protect our capital when we do get those feelings, when we do get those impulse purchase feelings, which again typically happen right at the tops of movements and typically happen right around the bottoms of movements as well. So just something to be aware of with your own sentiment, with your own emotions. And again, having a nice disciplined system to keep you out of those bad trades, waiting for full confirmations on all your PTP indicators, that is what's going to keep you out of those trades. Again, you might not catch every single trade, but you will catch the right ones because you are being patient and you are learning how to build your confirmation and filtration system, which is designed to keep you out of bad trades. It's not designed to catch every trade. It is designed to keep you out of bad trades. What would you rather do? Make money at the end of the year or lose money at the end of the year? Because most individuals are losing money at the end of the year. Catching more trades does not necessarily mean you will make more money if you are giving up a disproportionate amount of additional, if you are adding a disproportionate amount of losers to be able to take those winners. Remember, most of the individuals that you see posting on Twitter or even here on YouTube who are talking about their massive gains are not telling you about their massive losses, and they are not sharing their P&L report with you at the end of the year. What we do know works is a consistent, calm, methodical approach to the markets where you actively attempt to eliminate losers from your trading strategy and you attempt to maximize your gains. And again, remember guys, what is the market standard? It is 10% a year if you're lucky. It used to be 11% a year. I would argue that passive index fund investing is going to be returning you about 7% a year. And what are you going to do if you're approaching that investment mindset when the market takes a downturn? Are you adding inverse ETFs to your portfolio? Are you hedging by grabbing precious metals or cryptocurrency? Most individuals are not. Remember that if you are outperforming 10% a year, there are individuals who are paid lots of money to return 12 to 15% a year. Bernie Madoff, for all his billions, that man managed the most amount, just ridiculous sums of money for extremely wealthy investors. And he was famous for returning 12 to 15% per year. So get the Lambo dreams out of your eyes, and you can make a go of being a professional trader. In crypto, it is not hard to return 30% a year. In Forex, it is not hard to return 20 to 25% a year. Patience and discipline. And of course, personally, we've returned more than that. There has not been a year where I have not returned 100% ROI. But you aim low and you overperform. If you aim high and you need to return a high ROI, you're setting yourself up for failure. Anyways, with that being said, let's go look at a few other things. So when we talk about fully confirmed PTP signals, what are we looking for? Wadatar explosion to flip bullish. Have we had that? We have not. What's the explosion level doing? It is wiggling sideways and falling down, meaning volatility is exiting the market on a macro scale. Okay, obviously we had a nice reactionary volatile movement off the bottom, but did we establish a bull trend? No. Commodity channel index. Did it cross above the dynamic centered oscillator level? Yes, it did for one brief moment in time. Right at the high, it sure did. And what kept you out of that bad trade? Wadatar explosion, guys. Wadatar explosion. Love it or hate it, it is there to protect you. All right, let's see here. So we were able to protect ourselves from going long on that candle. We are potentially looking at a daily minx cross under. So as far as daily PTP signals, what are we doing? We have rising bearish momentum coming in from Wadatar explosion. Still a bit of a ways off from a confirmed sell signal. So I do think that it's still going to be a while unless we get a very large movement in the market, guys. Unless we get a very, very large movement in the market. And at this point in time, I would consider to the downside, probably get a reactionary little bounce off the baseline, maybe a day or two of upside before continuation of the downtrend, or things flip completely and we do end up getting an established long signal on the daily, which we will take regardless of what the monthly is signaling, because I do want to now go look at the weekly. And let's go talk about the weekly, because the weekly is telling us a slightly different story. So if we zoom our scale out, and again, look at the weekly here, how did the weekly close? The weekly closed on a doji, on a spinning top doji, getting rejection from the baseline on the weekly time frame after we had already gotten established sell signals over here on the weekly. We had Wadatar explosion signaling a sell signal, a primary powerful signal on this candle actually right here. Of course, if you're not using a baseline in your structure, this is a trade you potentially could have taken. But again, we do have some confliction here because as we can see, minx is above the noise line here, but below the centered oscillator. So again, it just depends on how you're using these indicators. I can only speak from how I have constructed my system. We do have individuals, of course, who are ignoring the noise line completely, who are simply using minx above or below as a centered oscillator. There are individuals who are not using CCI, of course, and that's totally fine. What the course is designed to do is to teach you how to build something of your own. You're not supposed to come and copy pasta Justin's trading system, although a lot of people do that, and that's absolutely fine. I do make money. But the system is designed to teach you how these things work. I do not ascribe to the school of I just give you random signals and you follow them blindly because I'm just such an amazing, gifted human person. Some would argue that I am. That's their own like thing. But again, consistent, patient, statistical trading and building your own system and knowing how it works and building the system yourself. That's what I want people to be doing. I want people to have the confidence, the skill, the conviction, because they have built the system from the ground up. They know how it works. They know how the pieces move together. And that gives you conviction and confidence when you trade, which is half the battle. I would say it's probably 75% of the battle is just conviction. Because the guys that I talk to in Discord, and kind of the messages are very, very similar. The language is different depending on one's vernacular, depending on one's geographical location, depending on one's upbringing, but it's always roughly the same. I'm feeling twitchy on this trade. I'm feeling very nervous about this trade. The market is moving. Oh my geez, blah, blah, blah. Whatever you guys are going to say, all of those things equate to, I don't have the conviction in my trading strategy, which generally means you need to go back and re-put in more work in the testing process, the back testing, the paper trading, the forward testing. You need to do all of that properly to have the proper psychological conviction to trade your system effectively. If you skip the testing phase and you just slap together some indicators and you test it for about 5 minutes and it looks good and you just start live trading, and whether you're making or losing money doesn't matter. You're eventually going to come to a point where you don't have the confidence to hold a position open when you know you should. You're going to close positions out early. You're going to take profit early, which is going to reduce from your bottom line. You're going to move your stop loss up aggressively. You're going to do all the mistakes, all the things that you should not do that will result in losing money because you haven't tested your system enough to have the confidence to just let it work, to just let the trade unfold the way that it should. But getting back to the weekly analysis, we do have a confirmed weekly sell signal with that large plunge below the qualifying line, though. So I do want to put a little caveat in there. Again, we do want to take these things with some, I'd say about 5% of subjectivity. When we see massive down candles like this, just similarly to massive long up candles, again, slightly different over in this case because we are an established uptrend, but we want to be a little hesitant taking strong signals off of the backs of these because remember, these are weekly candles. They take time to unfold. They take months to unfold, right? Daily candles are the best for getting trades. Weekly candles are good for longer term outlook, for longer term analysis, for understanding overall where the macro trend is going. And the macro trend on the weekly is quite bearish. It's been bearish for quite a while. Obviously, the Jericho candle gave us a little bit of a screw here. But then again, we can just see with the exception of this one weekly candle, we just right on business as usual, gentlemen, business as usual, right? We haven't had a bullish Wada explosion flip since all the way back in August. We have not had minks above the zero line since back in September. We have not had commodity channel index back above zero since July. Everything is quite bearish on the weekly. And just look at the drift of the baseline. It is drifting to the downside. Now, we do have a potential, again, I do have circled here on the chart. I do have a horizontal level right here, and that's down at 5K. 4K is a little bit lower than that. Now, the title of the show is a little misleading. Forgive me. You guys are here. Listen to the good analysis. 4.9K, and we'll see this on the monthly. Well, actually, let's just pause, stop talking about levels until we get to the monthly, okay? But although the last weekly candle close was an up candle with some decent volume above the volume moving average. Let's make that a little bit more visible here. There we go. Above the volume moving average right here, as we can see. Overall, it cannot, the price action of one candle cannot subside, cannot take away from the overall bearish trend. If we can get a weekly close above 7,600, again, we can start talking about potential uptrends. We can start talking about potential weekly swings or larger reactionary movements off the bottom that are a little bit more sustained. But currently, as we sit, there's nothing quite bullish about this. I guess one thing that I would like to point out that I feel is germane, let's go see where we're at so far with minks. Obviously, we did have minks in the oversold level around -100. Now, this is not as bad as it can get because we have seen minks, the weekly minks, all the way down as low as 150. And that was over here, which did not signal the bottom of the bear market, did not signal the bottom during the drop in November, but did signal that we were pretty darn close, right? And then again, the weekly closed nicely above the baseline here, and we stayed above the baseline for the entire bull market, with the exception of this one candle. And then, of course, we'd resume right on this weekly close and out, snagging that last about 30% of profit from the bullish run upwards. But again, just entering when you were supposed to, which this would have had you entering back in December, holding out for a little bit of downturn. But again, just this simple baseline strategy would have performed well for you because simple strategies work very, very well in strongly trending markets. When you want to get a little bit more nuanced and complicated is avoiding the majority of market structure, which is chop, right? The majority of market structure, bull trend, easy to trade. Chop, hard as fuck to trade. Downtrend, a little harder to trade than an established uptrend because there's a lot of, I believe the technical term is fuckery, but still not too difficult as long as you just keep your wits about you and you just hold on. With that being said, now I want to go to the monthly because we got something on the monthly that we haven't gotten yet. And again, let's juxtapose this very, very simply with what happened when we had an established bull trend. When did we get the monthly signals? The monthly signals over here fully confirmed. Actually, the monthly was not the best buy-in signal, which is why we used the daily, because the daily got us in on March 31st. The daily got us into a long on March 31st. The weekly, of course, would have had us miss out on that big old nice Jericho candle that we got on April 1st. But again, we have an established buy signal over here on the 1st of May, which again, late, definitely late to the party, but from that entry to peak, still would have netted you 62 potential percent. We have your first down candle the very next month later. Anyways, however you kind of want to slice the bread here, still putting you in for a good gain, even if you had just entered on that monthly candle. Obviously, we do close above the baseline, which on the monthly, we want to be a little cautious about these over here on March 1st. So as of March, one could have potentially been looking at a long, and we did get the Minx crossover on the very next candle. Now, for something like this, that would have been good for me. Water Explosion is tuned for the daily here, so it's going to be much, much slower. We would want to tune this probably to the sped up settings. This is 2040, the sped up settings being 1226 or 1020. To be able to catch accurate monthlies. But again, that's not so important. What I do want to talk about, however, is the fact that let's coach that. Let's say that, okay, full monthly PTP signal to go long on Bitcoin did not occur until the May candle, right? Did not occur until the May candle. And one may say, again, truly, that if one would have entered there, you would have been basically cut off from about 70%, maybe like 60% of the bullish upswing, okay? Absolutely true. But what did occur? What did occur on the immediately following monthly candle? We had a massive blow off top on the monthly, a massive blow off top on the monthly, huge wick to the upside, and just chunking down ever since then. So for those who are saying, let's look over at the current monthly, right? Confirmed Minx cross under. Water explosion above the explosion level on a rising explosion level, and CCI below the dynamic centered oscillator. That is a confirmed sell signal on the monthly, ladies and gentlemen. That is a confirmed sell signal. Utilizing Quadriga ATR, which is our stop and target system, we can see that does point us down for an initial target currently at 47.60. On the close of the monthly candle, however, we can see that our first target was 49.03. That's one monthly ATR. And Quadriga is very rarely wrong on TP1. So again, what happened immediately after the buy signal? Blow off top. If history repeats itself, what's going to happen following what's going to immediately follow a confirmed sell signal on the monthly? Blow off bottom. And if you want to be long from 8K to 4.9K, hey, that's your business. But very similar, going back to 2017, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody who says they bought up here and they were fine holding down here because they believe in Bitcoin, full of shit. I mean, it's cool if you held, man. I mean, no, I'm not mad at you. I believe in Bitcoin long term. I think that we're going to see six figures one day. Absolutely. But in your heart of hearts, you know, you'd have rather sold up there and bought back in cheaper. Even if you'd have just sold somewhere around here, like bought somewhere around here, whatever, you'd still be in profit right now. We ignore objective signals at our peril. Okay, with that being said, I want to correlate this to something else. Here we have the daily Coinbase chart. This is the hash ribbons indicator that we've talked about frequently lately. This is a fundamental indication that we do not have the pleasure of having in the Forex markets, that we do not have the pleasure of having in the stock markets, because Bitcoin is a technological innovation which allows us to monitor certain data sets that we do not have. Obviously, with stocks, we have things like earnings, PE ratios, profits per earning, all of these things. We don't have those things in cryptocurrency because, again, remember, when you're buying a crypto token, the value of the company doesn't freaking matter. Only token economics matter. Remember that, Ripple investors. But we do have, again, we are still in the phase of minor capitulation. Minor capitulation can last for 2 weeks to a month, historically. All right? We are not yet 2 weeks into minor capitulation, guys. We are not yet 2 weeks into minor capitulation. What does minor capitulation mean? It means that due to difficulty, weaker miners, those with less efficient systems, are unable to profitably run their operations with their regular selling of the block reward. Meaning any accumulated Bitcoin that they have, and if anybody has accumulated Bitcoin, it's going to be the people who are creating it, miners. They are going to be selling that excess Bitcoin onto the market to be able to keep their operation afloat, to cover rent, to cover costs, to cover electricity, to cover employee payroll, all of these things. These are large operations. We are still in the phase of minor capitulation. The 9 historical signals that hash ribbons have given us to the sell side, there's only been one bad signal, and a 2-year bull market ensued afterwards. So keep that in mind as well. Very similar, when minor capitulation is occurring, we often see extremely violent bursts to the downside. Now, the question of, have we already seen that violent burst to the downside in the initial movement down from 7,700, which is roughly when we got the signal, actually is more close to like 8,000, 8,100 when we first got that minor capitulation signal. That actually daily candle where the capitulation signal appeared, which is again when daily hash rate fell under difficulty level. That occurred at 81.23. We did plunge all the way down to 66.25. Now, whether or not that was the violent downturn or just phase 1 of a 2 to 3 phase downturn, I would more argue for the latter. What I would argue for is that it is inappropriate, I think quite foolish, quite gambly, if I'm to be quite honest, to be going long with this condition underway. I would much rather wait for minor capitulation to end, to wait for the weekly potentially to subvert the monthly sell signal, to wait for the daily to turn bullish, to get a buy signal of any kind, for the love of God, before I start calling and picking tops and bottoms, because you guys know how well that tends to work out in hindsight. All right. Now, we do have a few other things. I watched Crypto Daily's video over the weekend. Really, really good video. 3 things the Bitcoin pros don't want you to know. Something similar to that, right? And big shout out to Crypto Daily. Great guy, great videos. Love his content. And he talks about a few indicators on there. He talks about, obviously, the social sentiment. He talks about the RSI being extremely oversold. He talks about the funding being negative, which is a very interesting indicator. The only thing that I want to point out as far as funding rates go is that as far as TradingView indicators go, there are a couple popular ones. I've actually been researching this over the last few days. I feel like I'm just going to have to write my own with the help of one of my devs. And it feels like, actually, objectively, you can pull up, I think there's 3 funding indicators that I found on there. And they gave pretty good signals, right? But they all gave different signals, right? And the funding rates on each were different. So whether there's a bar offset, they're all hidden code. Obviously you can go find I talked about this live on stream. You guys can just Google for BitMEX funding TradingView indicator, and you can find a GitHub repo. It's RJ1984s. You can actually, somebody already went ahead and created the indicator on TradingView, so you can just search for BitMEX funding. Neobutane's got one. There's another one, which is like floating candle or bar candle or something like that. They're all pretty good indicators. They all give pretty good signals, but they all give different signals. Like one will give a signal on one day, and then 2 days later, there'll be a huge sell-off, and then that one will trigger. So, I'd be curious probably just to write my own so I can verify the data feed myself. I'm just not exactly sure why some of them are offset and some of them are not. I believe some are using predicted funding blended in with actual final funding rate. And then some are using premium as well. But they all seem to give pretty good contrary signals. Again, typically funding rate is a good indication of social sentiment. When funding is negative, it means that a lot of individuals are shorting the markets. When the funding is quite positive or spikes quite positive, it means a lot of individuals are longing the markets, because you have to incentivize, you have to make longs pay shorts to keep the premium from spot price absolutely insane. You have to disincentivize people taking price in the dominant direction. When you see a massive upswing in that, when you see a massive disproportionate premium, or a spike in funding, which is exactly the same thing, I repeat myself, often that is a great time to sell into the market or buy into the market, depending on whether it's a big spike down in funding, negative funding rate, or a big spike up in funding, positive funding rate. Often indicates a market top or bottom. And you can see the pronounced patterns, you can see the pronounced swings quite clearly if you look at the chart. So he, based on that, he's saying that right now is essentially, potentially, I would say that's hard to argue that you can't walk away from his video with him basically having the message that, hey guys, not financial advice, but Could be a good time to buy into the market right now. And again, that's a possibility. All right, funding rate did spike extremely low, but I think that he is right, but wrong. I think that we're overall in an area when buying back into the market makes sense. But because of our technical analysis, we can nuance that we have a very high probability of a pretty second and even more violent stab to the downside. For that reason, I will be holding off on buying back in. I'm fully hedged. And we're just going to sit this one out, guys. This is not the time to buy. It's not. All right. With that being said, it is 12:36. That concludes the morning's Bitcoin analysis. Let's slide on over back into the live scene. Let's take a quick look at intraday price action here. Basically, all we're going to be looking for here is time transformation signals. Again, TT, another one of our proprietary indicators. All you guys who are new to the group, you now have access to that. All you're doing, what I'm doing right here is I have a 15-minute Coinbase Heikinashi chart pulled open. I'm just waiting for buy and sell signals, right? Only green and red signals. And as you can see, they're denoting market bottoms and market tops, right? And the last three that we've gotten have been bang on. Here's a sell signal right here. Here's a buy signal right here. Here's a sell signal right here. Absolutely bang on. Not really doing anything intraday watching this. Intraday, over here on the 2-hour chart, we've got all our moving averages. These are using the multi-time frame feature, which we have programmed into our indicators. These are the daily moving averages. We are below all of them. Minx just gave us a fresh 2-hour cross under. Actually, is going to give us a fresh 2-hour cross under here in about an hour and 22 minutes. We're also going to be getting a 2-hour sell signal from Wadatar Explosion and confirmation from CCI. So here in about an hour, we're going to have a confirmed sell signal, a confirmed continuation sell signal on Bitcoin. That's probably a signal I'm going to be taking, looking to take price to the downside. Renko, we can see we're in a clearly established downtrend Renko. We've got one closed red brick already. We're about to close our secondary brick below the baseline over here on the Renko chart, traditional 154 setting. We'll modify that when we have a larger percentage move right here. And of course, on the daily, we're below VWAP, and we've consolidated above the point of control, grabbed a little bit of liquidity. We've had some fuckery over here a couple hours ago. I wouldn't say we've seen a big spike up for liquidity, but overall looking at this, I would say the liquidity to the sell, or excuse me, that shorts, their liquidity has been tapped far more than buy liquidity. So if we are going to have a nice move to the upside, either it's going to be a traditional classic breakout above 7,300, and I'd be a little iffy taking that anyways. But again, one can go with the momentum if they want. Potentially up here to 74.44. That's where we had our VWAP chunk down last night. Other than that, I would be pretty wary about taking longs in the situation. Definitely looking for a nice continuation short setup out of this. Looking for that kind of breakdown from this range. You can just see on the 2-hour chart how droopy and pathetic this looks. You know, nice stab down for liquidity, not a significant buyback. Could we see a stop loss hunt? Could we see another raid for liquidity to run down here and grab liquidity around 71.50, 71.40? Yeah, and then get another move back up to 74.40. I mean, that's a possibility. But that kind of seems unlikely. Again, everything is pretty bearish, pointing down. Again, we want to be cautious because in those moments we can get those kind of volatile pops to the upside. But I don't see anything here that makes me want to have faith or like hold long positions open. Like going short right now, I'd be okay with taking jabs at getting the short entry and getting stopped out a few times because I know that overall my trade has a high probability of being justified. But to the long side, absolutely not. I would not want to be taking longs in this area unless they were just very well calculated, you know, monitoring price action, watching for liquidity rates, things of that nature, or looking for nice signals from time transformation or 2-hour PTP or something like that. That would be an okay long, but still be pretty skeptical about it. I'd be going full risk on shorts. I'd be going low risk on longs right now. All right. With that being said, let's scroll up in the chat. What an active chat. I mean, geez, you guys just like chatting and chatting and chatting and chatting and chatting and chatting and chatting. Jeez. All right, MT Coiner. Good morning to you, sir. He says, do not put your Ethereum into the adoption amplifier. Ron Legato with the waves. Taurus, GBU, Wally, Knit and Soki. 4,000 Bitcoin. Is it for real? Yes, sir. Jose Canetta said, going to zero? No. Just a brief drop down into the lows before the explosion up to 20K. Excuse me, sir. Can you explain a bit about the Trezor wallet tonight, please? Thanks. Thank you, Jap. That is a good question. I'm actually not super familiar with the Trezor wallet myself. I use a Ledger Nano X. However, I'm very familiar with how wallets work, so I'm pretty sure I can walk you through it. Make sure to join us in the stream, man. Mass Stash, good to see you, my brother. ETH1. Yeah, and ETH1, that's a great comment. Jap, I'm sure that you can find an educational video here on YouTube. Dark Rico, good to see you. Saintsy, Profit Bear, Aaron Webb, Alex, MT Coiner. I think I already said that. Yeah, Wally coming through in the clutch. Trezor.io has got some pre-made tutorials on YouTube. Aaron says BTC isn't going to be close to 20K until mid-2020. Somehow there is a, we've got that, we got to fix that, man. Like, I am so not into that. Somehow our bot auto posts, like, if you're digging TA Master J's flow, I did not sign off on that copy, guys. I did not sign off on that copy. Just letting you guys know. Magic the Krakening says Hex is a scam. Agency, good to see you, my friend. Jonathan W. says, been watching some older 101 videos, much appreciated. Looking for the Fibonacci video. Can I link? I don't believe I've ever done a video on Fibonacci. I have done a video on pitchforks. It's pretty popular. Forza World TV, good to see you, my friend. Jonathan W. says, new setup, new shirt with logo, brand new fancy gold watch. J Money is capitalizing on this market. I've had the watch for a while. It was a gift. Thank you, man. Magic says, I would be buying Rune if I were y'all. 8-ounce baby Jesus is the signal. Let's see here. I mean, I believe I've gone over Fibonacci. Sorry, we have a lot of premium video and strategy videos that I've made. I know that I haven't made anything specific on Fibonacci. I've certainly gone over the topic a few times in a few videos, but I'm not a huge fan of Fibonacci. Not a huge fan. Now, Fibonacci, who is one of our analysts, he's obviously rather a big fan of Fibonacci, as is Da Vinci, one of our analysts as well. And they have made some material on it, and we're currently working on getting that stuff uploaded. Magic the Krakening asks if I share my P&L. Yeah, you can actually go to results.crackingcryptocurrency.com to see all of our P&L for the entire month. P&L adjusted, raw trade ROI, risk percentage per trade, all of that stuff. Entries and exits, everything. As well as you can go to currentresults.crackingcryptocurrency.com and see an 8-hour delay of all our closed trades. We do the delay because obviously we want to be fair and provide for our members first before we put that information out there publicly. But we do have it's just automated. It's just a time delay of our closed trades. Eli, oh, excuse me. Where'd that go? That's took me all the way down to the bottom. I think I missed a super chat. $8-ounce baby Jesus. Okay. Eli back. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat, my friend. He says, hey, Justin, I got in this weekend around the 618 retracement level at 750 on game. Any thoughts? Let's go check out game, my brother. Game credits. What's up? Yeah, I don't think my opinion on this one's changed very much, brother. We've got the, this is pretty clean. We've got, right, hold on, let's see here. Well, it's stretching all the way back to here. Yeah, you could have gone long. And we got to zoom in on this because of the volatility. Huh? Let's see. Okay, so when did we get the first crossover from Minx? The 8th of November. 8th of November. Remember the 8th of November. Yeah, you could have gone long on... No, you couldn't have gone. You could have gone long in the 9th. Could have gone long in the 9th. We closed below the baseline on the 8th, so that wouldn't be a trade you take. On the 9th, though, you could have gone long, and you would have stayed long on this bad puppy. Yeah, baby. Let's see. We're looking at Minx for an exit. I mean, just PTP called this one beautifully. Exit signal over here. But, I mean, if you're, if you would have set any kind of trailing take profit, you would have just hungry hippos on that 122% wick, man. I already told you were a baller for catching this, man. As far as trying to grab fib retracements on this stuff, man, come on, man. I'd be like, bam, I just made a bunch of money and walk away, man. Go find something else to trade. My personal opinion, but you are the shitcoin king. I will not deny that, man. Every time, Eli, every time you come in here, you're like, bro, I just grabbed this one, and it just blows my mind. You have a gift for this. So I can't give any comments on the 618 retracement. I don't trade that way. I'm not into, establishing levels of support just based off price momentum, especially big moments in the chart that are just come on, sometimes as a trader, when you just get if you're long and you get a candle like this, sometimes you just gotta be like, hallelujah. Hallelujah. You just gotta get into it, man. Trading's gotta be fun, but so I can't give you any advice as far as the dynamic levels of support and resistance. I don't see anything on here that even resembles support or resistance to me. Let's bring on VPVR, and we'll talk about some objective levels. Shamalama lama 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 lama. Opacity? Opacity? Not really interested in seeing the differential. Volume's all I care about. Oh, that's pretty neat. So we could change it. No. Value area up. Value area up. Down volume. Oh, that's kind of neat. Yeah, I kind of like it like that. I like it like that. Right around this baby, which kind of makes sense. This would be a retest of a consolidation zone. And getting below that, obviously this baby right here, this would be a retest of a consolidation zone. Swoop. I'm sorry, that's just funny, man. Every time I see that wick, I've looked at this chart a few times. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, this looks pretty simple, man. We are in the midst of a big sell-off. You can see the reaction. This is the late stage buyers coming in, and they just got dumped on by everybody that bought the wick right around this area, which formed this big old fucking node of resistance. And we just rejected from it, man. Look at that wick up exactly to that node right there, right where everybody sold off of, right? And we got some support down here. VPVR support right down here. So I would highly recommend that if you're going to use some Fibonacci on this, some Fibonacci wizardry, that you do not measure. Do not measure from here. We do not look at that wick. That wick is nothing. Let's see here. What do we got? Okay, so you bought the 618 off of this. Okay, so Fibonacci theory, man. It's the way I used to trade Fibonacci. Buy the 618, you target the 236. Right? So let's bring up the that's the 236 or the 382. Right? Didn't hit the 236, but you could have taken profit right at the 382. That was on you, sir. Right here. That's where you should add your limit sell order. And then right here. And if you miss this one, you know, you move your stop loss to break even. Who cares? Good buy on the 618. Definitely give you that. But when you buy the 618, you got to have an exit strategy. You know, Fibonacci theory, at least if you're applying Fibonacci theory to attempt to find like a long-term bottom for game, I don't think you're correct. I think the game's got quite a bit ways to go. Like I don't even know if this will be, I'm sure we'll get a bounce off of this VPVR support. That's a trade. But as far as like established uptrend, bro, that's what PTP's for. So I think that you might, again, I don't want to come in here and tell you to sell something that might pump up, but if I were in your shoes, I would have tried to sell that. I'd probably, you know, I'd move my stop loss to break even. I'd probably take some profit right now. You got a good trade. I don't think it's likely that you're going to get a big old massive game pump out of this. That's just me personally. I'm always very, very bearish when I look at altcoin charts. So if I'm wrong, don't flay me on the stake, brother. All right. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get through the rest of these comments. If you buy Rune, you could go stop. GB Wally says, I am not here to give signals that people will follow blindly. Me. More signals, please. Keck. Oh, man. Fly me to the Rune and let me play among the stars. I'm gonna tell you guys something about show titles right now. Sometimes sometimes show titles go through several hours of conversation with my team, tweaking, editing. What's the right show title? What conveys the right theme? What conveys the right mood? And sometimes, guys, it's like, oh, hey, all right, I forgot to set the title for the show. Plunge to 4K. That works. Yeah, go live. Sometimes it's not, sometimes it's not, all right, let's see here. Stair stepping down. Carton137, thank you so much for joining the community over there on Twitch, my good friend. Mr. Ether says we're headed to 1,000. Oh my God. Why not have color change and signals on minks? I designed those things so that the indicators are easy to use for those becoming familiar with them. I created the thing. I know exactly what I want to look for. And for that reason, I like my chart to remain extremely clean. Like I'm very much a minimalist. The other thing is, if I have color bar change on minks and then I have color bar change on Wadatar Explosion, when you have multiple bar color indicators that are painting on your bars, it makes things confusing, and often you won't get that bar painting signal. So I've talked about this before in a video for the premium members, but just me, that's just my personal aesthetic preference. I'm a minimalist. I like things to be very squeaky clean and small. You know, I do the Marie Kondo style of folding. You guys should see my closets. Everything's like neat and ordered. People are coming in, they're like, ah! Yes, aesthetic reasons. Dollar cost Avengers. They definitely bought up there and bought down there and are still holding. Thank you, ETH1. That's why I love you too, brother. Nemanja Trimsevic. I tried, man. I tried. Justin, what if I can't get daily candle close? Should I use the 12-hour time frame instead? Thanks, man. I think the 12-hour is a fine time frame to use, and that's been my recommendation. The 12 or the 8 is my recommendation for individuals that are not able to catch that daily close. David Rice will say it for me. XRP sucks. He said it, not me. Crypto Knight, let's say let's go lower. Aditya is not touching XRP with a 10-foot pole. Thank you so much for the camera comment there, Wally. XRP stands for extremely wrecked people. Jonathan W. requesting the ETH chart. We'll look at the ETH chart in just a little bit, my friend. There's a pretty good one called Deribit Basis that just shows you the premium on the 3 futures contracts. Okay, let's check that out. Okay, this is pretty neat. This is not... Now I'm going to have to spend some time like getting used to this because I'll show you the ones that I like. Like we've got neobutanes and is it this one? Yeah, this one's good. And this is the one that you guys can find on that GitHub repo, R1984. All right. So let's zoom out here. Okay. And so the neobutane one I seem to like the best so far because you guys can just really see, like here, for example, like, you know, you can just, I mean, they just stand out. Look at these outliers, right? You know, this is an outlier. This one right here. This is an outlier right here. This is an outlier right here. This is an outlier right here. You know, these are outliers right here. So you can see here, like, for example, this is a huge spiking rate to the upside. And although on this particular example, shorting right here was not a good idea, it also wasn't a terrible idea. Like you didn't lose a lot of money. Like price did not drastically move up. And then just a few days later, you get a huge funding spike to the downside, meaning that a lot of people are trying to sell this. And that was a great time to go long, right? Let's go over here. You get a nice spike right here. I'd say that, you know, these signals in the uptrend, you would kind of want to ignore. And also, they're not huge outliers. They are outliers, but then we get out to something like this. I mean, that is an outlier. That is a huge spike in funding, and that is at the very top of the market. That is the best time to short. That was the very top. And then let's look over here. We get this huge funding spike to the downside, and although it's not the bottom, longing in this area did make sense, right? And you can see that the funding rate remained negative throughout all of this, setting us up for this big short squeeze right here. Now, the reason why I say like I want to do the math myself is because here's a premium, here's neobutanes, and here's this one by Beyond Candle that I actually kind of like a little bit better because it spikes at different areas, right? So if we look at the outliers on this one, we can see that we actually get the, it doesn't give as great of a signal on this because the funding spikes here instead of at the top like neobutanes. But it catches this top for us right here. Unlike neobutanes, you have just one clear objective top right here. It catches the bottom pretty good over here. And it also catches this bottom much better, right? Unlike neobutanes. So they're showing signals on different days. And I mean, I'm sure because one is showing a premium, one is probably showing projected funding or expected funding, and one is showing actual final funding. So I want to do the math myself and run my own test. But it's, it's become an indicator that I'm now actively interested in testing. I don't do subjective. I only do objective. Midwest Attempt says, get rid of it. Hey, David, how you doing, man? 8 pound, 7 ounce. Good old baby Jesus. Roy Coin, what is the advantage of the Hall moving average versus the EMA? Different strokes for different folks. I think that the Hall moving average, it's currently the baseline that I'm using because it just tests better. It just works better. It gives better signals. It just gives me a higher rate of success. I'm constantly testing, adding, tweaking, modifying my systems. And I think that's what systems traders should be doing. Always looking, always teasing, always testing, always experimenting, always looking to improve. The EMAs are great. As you guys can see, I still like to use them for dynamic support and resistance. But you know, there's the nice old baseline is much cleaner. It's the 20-period Hall moving average for those who asked. That's not, again, I know some people are still using the 13 EMA, some people are using the 30-period Donchian. All great choices. All great choices. It's not that they suck now because I don't use them in my active strategy. It's not like, oh, this indicator was good, but now it's fucking garbage. No, they're great. They're great. Just for my settings, for my indicators, for my signals, the Hall moving average 20 is better. And that's subject to change. I mean, this, I'm very, 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 very much like not married. You know what I mean? Like I use, it's a tool. It's a tool that makes money. All right. And if I find a better tool, hey, baby, time to go. Move over, little dog, cause the big dog's coming in. What lies ahead for Dash? Is it a good investment? If I could get a Kramer sell in here, I would give you that, man. The weekly close tonight will be bad. The weekly closed last night. Shitcoin King. He is killing. Yes, he is. What's my Renko ATR? It is 154. Your Renko 15-minute is for scalping on the That's Heikinashi. That's a 15-minute Heikinashi time transformation scalping system. And can we look at EOS? So EOS and Ethereum when we return. But right now, guys, we got to take a break because I've been going for an hour. You haven't even seen me take like one drink of my water. You guys are vicious, man. You guys are vicious. So we're going to take a brief break. When we return, we're going to look at Ethereum. We are going to look at EOS. But before we do that, before we look at ETH and Ethereum, we're gonna share our thoughts on Hex. Now, listen, we are going to be making a dedicated video to Hex because it is such a controversial topic because there are so many points to cover. So I don't want anything that I say today to be viewed as like our final word. I am going to share my thoughts on Hex based on our conversations as a community, based on our conversations as analysts. I'm going to try to be as fair as possible. But I'll give you guys my initial thoughts. So if you guys want to hear that, stay tuned. Also, once we return from the break, we are also going to be opening that chest for the D-Livians over there, guys, because we love you guys over on D-Live. Maybe just me. I love you guys. And I don't care what anybody else thinks about you. You're good people. So we're going to throw some lemons in that chest. So you guys want to do your thing to get ready for those rewards. And if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, put them in the live chat. The moderators will attempt to grab them for me when I come back from the break. Otherwise, guys, stay tuned. We're going to have a brief word from our friends over at ByBit and some awesome waiting music. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back. This is Jason when he first learned about Bitcoin margin trading on BitMEX.
Why? Why? Give it back! Give it back! Give it back!
This is Jason 6 months later after signing up for ByBit with the Cracking Cryptocurrency referral link found in the description below. Don't make the same mistake as Jason. Sign up today at bybit.crackingcryptocurrency.com. All right, guys, we're back. Hey, what's going on? All right. How are you doing? I'm doing well. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to distribute these rewards to our loyal D-Livians over here. Coming in at you. Take a look over at the charts. Still waiting on that 2-hour comp. Got about an hour to go yet. 14 more seconds. The anticipation is killing me. And bazinga. Ooh, Forza World TV getting a fat stack today over there on DLive. Congratulations, my friend. It pays to be active. Remember, guys, if you're lurking, you're not getting paid. Yuri, thank you so much for the subscription over there on YouTube, my good friend. Welcome to the community. All right. I do need to mention, I'm contractually obligated to mention that the Black Friday, the Cyber Monday sale, well, whatever you guys would like to call it, right now you can use the coupon code CCBF19-30 at checkout to receive 30% off. That is 30% off of the Kraken Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group. Dun, 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 dun. And there we go. Good stuff. All right. With that being said, let's get into the scuttlebutt. Because we have scuttlebutt to talk about. Okay. Now, let's bring up. It's Hex.win. There we go. We'll talk about Hex a little bit, guys. So, remember, we are going to be making a dedicated video about this later on in the week. And yes, I do know that the primary snapshot is tonight. So I'll attempt to leave you guys today with the idea. But if Hex is something that you are interested in, you don't have to claim tonight. You have time. Okay? You're just going to get reduced rewards as you go on. So this is not something that if you are interested in Hex that you need to barrel into. It's not an all or nothing thing. Now, obviously the crypto space is buzzing about a very polarizing project set to have its snapshot later today. Hex is being marketed as a form of airdrop, and it is being distributed for free to Bitcoin holders who are willing to claim it. Hex is an ERC20 based token, and it is being pitched as a high interest staking coin that operates as a smart contract on the Ethereum blockchain. The idea being that if you can program money, why not program it to generate yourself interest like bank deposits do. Now, the inspiration, the figurehead, the face of Hex is Richard Hart. Now, Richard Hart is a self-stylized thought leader in the crypto space, and he is trying, in his own words, to deliver a token he feels is designed to reward the small guy, that creates an incentive structure to encourage long-term holding that would also attempt to mitigate against holders of the token dumping it in the open market. Now, Hex's strong suit does appear to be its public figurehead, Mr. Hart himself, and he is a very polarizing figure in the cryptocurrency space. He has a background in affiliate marketing and a strong social media following due to him capitalizing on his exposures to the publicity here in cryptocurrency. Now, the project Hex has a very high profile and a lot of online buzz surrounding it that would certainly be envious of other crypto projects, would certainly be envious to have the limelight like Hex does. Of course, in this world of rampant speculation and crypto Twitter shilling, many projects' early success, in terms of pumpamentals, if you would, depended largely on a brief sales pitch and marketing alone. Richard Hart unabashedly tries to build pump mechanics into this smart contract while preaching that I'm giving you guys what you want. Now, Hex is not unlike many other decentralized finance smart contract applications currently running on Ethereum. There isn't much to it. You stake Hex and you earn interest. And it is not being marketed as something that is attempting to reinvent the wheel. The longer you stake, you earn more interest. New coins that are mined or that enter the supply are distributed to stakers. So on this basis, Hex leverages the benefits of Ethereum, including its decentralized network and cheap transaction costs. Now, assuming that we take the development at its word, Hex is not expected to, it should not be expected to have any fatal flaws and would likely go on to operate successfully on the Ethereum blockchain like many of the other financial smart contracts that currently exist on the Ethereum blockchain. Stakers will lock up their funds and earn more Hex as interest as a reward for locking up their funds longer and longer. Now, while Hex distribution is free to those holding Bitcoin at the time of the snapshot, the contract on Ethereum functions like many ICOs have functioned before. You can send Ethereum to the address in exchange for Hex. The formula has worked before particularly well during the ICO craze, so what would be different this time? Now, it is unclear, however, where that Ethereum is going and what, if anything, related to the project it will be used for, or it will be funding. Now, while some of it may go to reimburse creators of the project or development of the project, individuals like Richard Hart and those who actually designed and developed the code, some may in fact go to aggressively market and onboard new users to the project and raise its profile as the go-to high-interest coin on Ethereum. Of course, sending Ethereum is not necessary to get Hex, and existing Bitcoin holders can, as I said, get their Hex for free. So it may seem like a no-brainer. Receive a free token that's being marketed aggressively with a strong personality at the helm. And these individuals are probably going to spend the next few years marketing and exposing individuals to this Hex project. So what is the catch for the Bitcoin holders? So before we move into this, I just want to aggressively state this. If you send Ethereum in return for Hex, you are essentially participating in an ICO. All right, it works no different under the hood than any other Ethereum ICO has worked. This was very profitable for individuals during 2017, and it has not been very profitable for ICO projects since. All right, just want to point that out there. But you have the option to exchange your Ethereum in return for Hex. This is not something I will be doing. Now, for the Bitcoin holders who can claim their Hex for free, what is the catch? Unfortunately, Bitcoin users claiming their free Hex, exercising their rights to claim their free Hex, are effectively opening themselves up to compromising their anonymity and privacy on the blockchain. Now, this is going to be different for different individuals. It depends on how you go about claiming your Hex. Your BTC holdings will be permanently associated with your Hex claim, and therefore your Ethereum address. Because Hex is not forked directly off Bitcoin, it is not free the way BCH was to Bitcoin users when that fork occurred. This carries technical implications that the team of Hex has so far not made very clear when they have cited BTC forks and airdrops to existing users as a recipe for success. Put simply, the price that you would pay as a Bitcoin holder to claim your free Hex may come at a cost to your privacy and identity on the Bitcoin blockchain. You are forever exposing your UTXO set and associating it with your Ethereum address, meaning in the future, any potential policies that might come out from the government targeting UTXO sets when blockchain analysis gets even more advanced. You are, for now, to claim your free Hex and associating it with your Ethereum address, any Bitcoin wallets that you associate with that Ethereum address, you are essentially combining all your UTXO sets, right? And associating them with one address. And for those individuals who hold Bitcoin for privacy, for those who hold Bitcoin for anonymity, for those who have set themselves up correctly, whether they're using Wasabi Wallet, whether they're tumbling their coins, whether they even understand what I mean when I say not combining your UTXO sets. And basically all I mean by that is if you have Bitcoin in a wallet over here and you have Bitcoin in a wallet over here, unless you publicly disclose that you own those wallets are not associated on the blockchain. But if you take Bitcoin in one wallet and you take Bitcoin in another wallet and you combine them into one wallet address, you are combining your UTXO splits, meaning that any history from this wallet into the past can be referenced and tied to history from this wallet to the past, and now information and history on this new wallet that you have now created in the middle to consolidate your coins. And of course, I'm sure there are going to be a lot of individuals that are going to, for sake of simplicity, consolidating their coins from disparate wallets into one larger address to make the process of claiming easier. But even if you don't do this, let's say that you have Bitcoin in a wallet over here and Bitcoin in a wallet over here and Bitcoin in a wallet over here. If you use the same Ethereum address to claim your Hex from each of those disparate wallets, you've done the exact same thing as combining all your UTXO splits into one wallet address. And for those of you who utilize Bitcoin for privacy and security, that's a no-no. Now, while the project is sure to attract many crypto newcomers who are essentially mesmerized by the idea of mad gains and a new token ostensibly designed to only pump, there is the risk that the claim it free marketing may serve as the bait to hook in users who will later consider going all in on Hex. Let me reread this. Okay. Essentially, users who take advantage of this free claim feature will most likely, of course, end up satisfied with early gains or profit projections to come, and therefore may be inclined to stray from the original plan and begin to gather more Hex by funding the Ethereum contract directly. Even worse, if a bear trend continues and users become increasingly sympathetic to Richard Hart, negative arguments and FUD surrounding Bitcoin, they may begin to question holding a declining Bitcoin at all. The great tragedy would, of course, be seeing a user start by claiming their free Hex with a what do I have to lose attitude, only to become more and disenchanted with Bitcoin during an extended market slump. The same user could end up selling their Bitcoin for Ethereum months later, only to send it to the Hex contract, high on hopium that this next crypto project will explode in price, only to have the Bitcoin market recover. We've seen this before. So, I guess in summary, having kind of put that tone out there, do I think that Hex is a scam? I don't. I don't think it's a scam whatsoever. I think that it is being marketed quite honestly, and I have nothing against Richard Hart. I don't think I don't think this is a project where, well, it depends. It depends on if you're sending your Ethereum or not. It would be inappropriate of me to speculate on what those funds will be used for, right? There are lots of ICO projects that have done amazingly well. The EOS project ran almost identically similar to how the Ethereum kind of staking investing project, not even investing, but how you send Ethereum to a smart contract and your distributed EOS, or Hex in this case. That's exactly how the EOS ICO worked. And EOS was a great ICO. It was a great buying opportunity for a lot of individuals. It's inappropriate of me to recommend or dissuade anybody from investing or putting their money into Hex. I'm not going to do that. I will not be sending any Ethereum to the Hex smart contract address. I do not think that's just not something that I do. That's not something that I'm interested in. And of course, like, there's nothing in particularly crazy or weird or scary about Hex, about sending Ethereum to Hex for receiving an ERC20 token, as there was with any of these other projects. You're sending Ethereum to receive a token, and you're hoping the token pumps. That is the role of a speculator. For individuals who are not utilizing Bitcoin for privacy or security, if you're already combining all your UTXO splits, then getting free tokens probably is not a massive concern for you. For individuals who do utilize Bitcoin for privacy and security, and who understand how to keep their UTXO splits. So, by the way, if you say you use Bitcoin for privacy and security and you don't understand the danger of combining your UTXO splits, you're not using Bitcoin for privacy and security. So if you don't understand what I mean, then you're already not in the camp of privacy and security. I want you guys to be aware of the associated danger. There's nothing in this world for free. Now, I know a lot of individuals are very, very excited about Hex, and their excitement might be well placed. Nobody knows how well the project will do. What I will say is that I don't think that Richard Hart is a scammer. I think that he's pretty honest and upfront about what he does, which puts him in a category very disparate from the wide, vast chasm and miasma of individuals who are known, and projects that are known to just lie, cheat, steal, and take money, right? There is a vast chasm of those scumbags. There is a small sliver of truly honest and ethical individuals over here. And then the rest of us normal folk, we fall into the middle, right? We don't always do the right thing. We generally try our best. But I do want to give props to him for being pretty upfront about what he's created here, which is a token designed to make people rich, pumpamentals, right? He's not claiming to reinvent the wheel. So this is a personal decision that people have to make. Obviously, there are security concerns for the Bitcoin holders. Obviously, there's the same risk with any ICO that you get with anything else. So we'll be making a dedicated video to kind of go over these dangers and risks and concerns a little bit later on in the week. Snapshot is tonight at 6 p.m. You guys are free to research this more at your leisure. But those are my initial takeaways. Those are the things that I want people to be aware of. I know that a lot of people are excited about this, and I wanted to touch on this and give my thoughts and opinions on this before we move, before the snapshot occurs. So I just want to give people that kind of awareness, that kind of understanding before they start running around and doing things inappropriately, if they are going to be doing things inappropriately. All right. Where's the ancient aliens guy meme when you need it? Well, thank you, Wally, for the $10, by the way, my friend. I would say whether or not it already occurred or not, I guess, hey, you know. But doesn't really change anything. Bash shopped. All right. With that being said, I guess I don't really get that meme, but okay. Let's see what else do we got. Oh, we didn't do the, you know what we didn't do? We didn't do the cryptocurrently thing. Let's do the cryptocurrently thing before we do the next video. In today's cryptocurrently segment. Oh, I'm muted? Thank you very much. How long have I been muted? Oh, thank you. Bye. Coming through in the clutch, guys. I don't know why I muted that. All right, so anyways, here we are on Ethereum. Okay, let's do our daily perspective here. Again, very similarly, if we look at Watatari Explosion, very similar to Bitcoin, never gave us the go-ahead. Never gave us the go-ahead, never flipped our sentiment. I would say even more so than Bitcoin. So, you know, honestly, what we've seen here over the last few days, actually over the last few months, for the love of God, is Ethereum simply track BTC USD's price. At times with increased volatility, at times with lower volatility, which has honestly made ETH-Z19 a pretty good squeeze trade. Squeeze play in between them. Obviously, when Ethereum is overperforming Bitcoin, ETH-Z19 is going to rise up, or Bitcoin is going to rise up. And when Bitcoin is overperforming Ethereum, then ETH-Z19 is going to go down. So, thank you, Wally, for the $2 super chat, my friend. Got the microphone fixed, I do believe. It is funny though to see you know, it's gonna be I've got this idea for like this for the next kind of the next cool video that I do. It's gonna be I'll tell you guys later. Let's get into Ethereum. I'm not gonna share my private thoughts. All right, so we had, let's see here. On Ethereum, though, interestingly enough, we had a little bit over here on the 25th. We would have had a 2 confirmation long, but thank God for Water Explosion keeping us out of that trade, because you would have not gone very far. You would have not had a lot of wiggle room on that trade. Not even worth looking at a target. We are still above the baseline on Ethereum. So for daily setups, daily trades, we haven't gotten the confirmation to take price once again to the downside. Now, again, remember, here in about 30 minutes, we're going to get confirmation to take BTC down to the downside on the 2-hour time frame. And I do want to pull up those targets here real quick. $71.85, $70.85, and $69.85. So it looks like we got about a little bit less than, we got a pretty low ATR on the daily. Average trade is not, yeah, it's about 199.86 on the 2-hour time frame. Now, those are Coinbase targets. So if there's a slight premium or backwardation, make sure to adjust your take profits accordingly, depending on what exchange you're trading on. As far as LTFs, this looks very weak. When price looks very weak and we're in a downtrend, you don't go long. Any users, we're still a couple days away from a confirmed daily resumption of the downtrend. That's assuming we get a few more bearish candles. Again, I think we're probably to slog along here, unfortunately. Very similar to Bitcoin. I don't know or believe if we're going to fall right off the cliff. I just know where the monthly is pointing us down at, and also being very cognizant of that blowdown top. So I would like to already be positioned and be taking my signals from the higher time frame. There's literally nothing different here on Ethereum than Bitcoin. The only thing that might be slightly different is going to be intraday price. So All right. I knew I was going to have to set this up eventually. Now we've got our Ethereum. Welcome to your volatile December in all markets. Look at him go. Could see 6.8K. Yes, Ethereum could see 6.8K. One of these days, sir. As long as we just wait. As long as we continue to wait. 6.8K, definitely. We're seeing the so as you can see, I just wanted to bring all this up to point out again, exact same thing. 2 hour, actually we got a confirmed 2 hour short signal on Ethereum on the previous candle. Someone would have already been in a short signal, not on the previous bar though, not on this one, but you've been looking for a continuation. Now for Ethereum, if I were looking for that better average price, right at the daily point of control, we've kind of broken below it, back testing. Look for that like 148.69. Try to get filled right here when we're going to take the short down. So a little bit of a squeeze. Or, you know, Ethereum, again, you can see the only difference on Ethereum is going to be intraday, as we can see here between these two differences, because Ethereum looks like a liquidity grab to the downside. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wicks down into this level, and price has not moved up yet. That is not a bullish sign. Oh, you know, there's something we forgot over here, which is time transformation. There we go. There we go. Let's go see how, yeah, so let's just go look at the last few signals on time transformation. Buy signal here, buy signal here. Sell signal here, sell signal here. So just waiting for those signals, man. It's a lot better than price action. It's a lot better than raw price action. I don't see anything I want to do on Bitcoin or Ethereum, except for short the 2 hour signal on Bitcoin. Maybe set my limit order at 7,300 for a little bit better entry, which I'll be doing probably right after the stream. And looking for shorts, guys. I'm not looking for longs on Bitcoin or Ethereum. I mean, Ethereum, there is a very small margin up to maybe 148.68, like $1 to the upside. But it does not look good. Again, you should already be in an established short on Ethereum as of the previous 2 hour close. But again, now it just comes down to, you know, why are you splitting your risk between Bitcoin and Ethereum if they're moving the same direction? You have to choose which one you think is going to move on higher volatility and go with that one, or lower, or which one is going to move on lower volatility and go with that one. It's the decision you have to make. All right, so let's kick in some tunes. There we go. EOS, my good sir. Yes. Let's check her out. Let's go look at BitFinex. Again, the same thing, man. Looking for those continuation shorts. You know, as I kind of talked about, similar with Bitcoin, similar with Ethereum on the daily, you know, we are getting kind of close, looking for a reversal baseline bounce. So I could see that consolidation kind of continuing. Do I think it's going to be a bounce that blasts us off? No. Could we see a day or two of upside? Yes. That's what we could see potentially. It really depends. Similar with EOS, we've got about 3% downside to hit that baseline. Let's see here. Commodity channel index has not turned bullish yet on the daily. Minx did give us a crossover. That one confirmation buy signal could have put you in there. Again, low risk. One could have rode this trade up a little bit, but again, that's a reversal trade, not a trending trade. We are not an established bull trend. Look at Wadatar explosion. Absolutely nothing. That is a pretty ugly shift in market structure right there. Yeah, look at that 2-hour fuck you candle. Grabbing liquidity and to the downside. Breaking below support. That does not look good. A lot of memes about the inverted head and shoulders patterns here on our major dollar pairs. One thing I know some people had talked about in the group is retesting this kind of breakout zone. I know that's what a lot of people are going to be trading right now. A lot of people are going to be trying to long this, which creates a great liquidity spot. What is funding doing right now? I'm going to stick with neobutanes because his is cleaner and sexier looking. Oh, so funding is negative, but we haven't gotten a massive spike or a massive premium to the downside. I think the most cogent signals that we have right now are this and the monthly sell signal. As long as you coach all your trades within your larger analysis, you'll be okay. Andrew, that's some Google Translate right there, my friend. How much time have you been trading? There we go. He caught it. Let's see here. Yeah, right here. 2-hour short signal. Could have waited for a refill at the baseline. And down we go. So already a pretty good setup. The last 8 hours on EOS. About a 4% movement to the downside. I would hold off right now. A little bit of waning bearish momentum right here. I would hold off. You know, if I were bullish on EOS, this would be a good time to... I mean, obviously, you'd be buying support right now. But I don't really have strong bullish feelings on any of the markets right now. So I cannot say that I feel confident about that. So overall, with EOS, I would do nothing, my friend. No. No, sir. No, Wally. I'm going to coach my trades. Thank you, agency. I highly appreciate that, man. Wish I would have started with a program like Justin's rather than just watching YouTube videos and learning on my own like I did. I picked up a lot of bad habits that way. That's why we're here, man. We do the best that we can to get people educated. Thank you for your support, my friend. Solar MKD says, Bollinger Bands are narrowing on Bitcoin. That may mean dump is usually to happen, right? So with volatility, we have to understand that volatility does not give us directional bias. The momentum indicators and where we are relative to price, or where price is relative to things like our baseline, where our indicators are relative to the signals that they give us. For example, every single indication from the monthly to the daily is bearish. So that's what gives us our directional bias. Things like the Bollinger Bands don't give directional bias. They give us, they're a volatility measurement. And volatility measurement, volatility filters, as we call them, tell us when and when not we should trade. So the traditional way of looking at things like Bollinger Bands or ATR or the squeeze momentum index or the squeeze momentum oscillator or whatever people call that thing, TTM squeeze, pulse, all that kind of stuff. It's a pretty good indicator. It tests really good, squeeze indicator, as a long or short signal. But it's even better as a volatility filter. Doesn't make it into my system, but I don't think it's terrible. TTM squeeze. You don't have to buy LSEOs. You can use it for free on TradingView, by the way. But looking at the context, yes, can give us direction. So when the Bollinger Bands do tighten up, it means that volatility is tightening up and that the market is contracting. When the market contracts, it's kind of like not a rubber band stretching. It's it's squeezing a spring down, right? It's squeezing a spring down. That volatility is going to explode at some point in time, and typically the market will move in a violent fashion. So that's exactly what Wadatar Explosion is designed to teach or to show us. So again, if we go over and look at the daily on Bitcoin, we can see that falling explosion level on the daily, which indicates the Bollinger Bands tightening up on the daily, right? And the Bollinger Bands have gotten, or the explosion level's gotten as low as 600. We're currently at around 2,000, so we've got quite a ways to go. So I would not be surprised to see consolidation, a little bit of grinding this level out for a while. But that's also, again, I'm already positioned. My positions are already set. All the guys in the premium group know that. I do exactly what I say. So, because I don't want to be sitting not in an active position when the market moves in my favor. I don't like to fumble into a position because, again, when I look at something like EOS, so for those of you when I look at something like EOS, I go down to the lower time frames and I'm looking for a trade. It's not that I don't know what to do. It's that there's nothing to do, right? If I was bullish, I'd be buying this liquidity grab, looking to take price up. I'm not bullish, so screw this support. And I also don't want to enter into a short trade after I miss the signal, right? Here's the signal. Here's the retest of resistance. And this is the optimum time to enter on the reversal baseline bounce. Yes, Ricky T. You missed the chest on D-Lab, brother. Could fill that gap in a year. What gap are we talking about, my friend? Well, we've got a meme gap. $7,500 to $7,700. So basically, we're talking about a retest of supply. So a bullish upswing in the supply would be the price action method, and then a sell-off. Would also be a nice little meme head and shoulders there, wouldn't it? We need to go back up and fill that gap pretty much immediately. CME gaps do have a good history. Yeah, we can come back and fill that up in 2020, man. However, let's note that and come back to that. So if we do get some bullish upswing from here, if we do end up getting a reversal and a 2-hour PTP signal, that's where we'd be targeting then. Basically I'd probably be shooting, you know, if we did get a bullish move out of this, I wouldn't shoot for the 21, I'd shoot for the 13. Or whatever Quadrigo told me on the 2-hour. Which are probably going to be roughly similar right now. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, final target would be around EMA 13 on the daily. What in the hell are you listening to? Andrew asks. Wonder if McAfee likes ketchup. Mr. Ether says we need to fill that empty space above 20K too. I agree, man. That's the gap nobody's talking about right there. I mean, look at this huge gap right here. Look at this huge gap right here. Gotta fill that. That was not a lightsaber. I do not have 15-minute Renko on my chart, sir. That is Haikanashi. Yes. Just time transformation signals. Look at that McAfee cat. Let's see here. What do I want to see? Well, we'll see. What would be the intraday trade for Monday and Tuesday? Some of our analysts are of the very strong opinion that the trend direction of Monday's candle is very determinative for the rest of the week. I am less convinced of that. but we all have our different styles. I do think that if we do charge up and fill that gap, that's a sell signal. So the bullish scenario, again, this is the problem with subjectively interpreting charts. The bullish scenario would look at this, what just happened here, as a liquidity hunt and the point of maximum opportunity for longs. For a drive up to fill the CME gap. Which would be a nice long trade. And then sell into supply. So we will see if intraday momentum can bring us up there. I'll be communicating with the guys in the ByBit Brawl in the premium trading group today, as well as making myself available after the show for this, for the new members for a little bit of onboarding. Also be doing that the next few days as well, just to make sure all the new members kind of get exactly where they need to be, get started on the material. Make sure they understand where all the links are and all the resources that they now have available to them. Let's see here, what else? What time frame is the Renko chart on it? That is on the 1 second time frame. Oh, the Renko looks like a 15-minute chart. Oh no, it's cool, man. All right, gentlemen, as it normally is, we come to the close of another day of analysis. 2-hour short signal on Bitcoin. Let's see here. Talked about this. Targets down to 7192, 7098, 7005. Stop at 7247. And I think people are going to be looking at that stop as a potential sign that we will fill that gap. I don't know. Again, this is not an area where I want to look for longs. I don't really trade gaps or gap fills. Honestly, I just don't even think about these things. But I will not ignore that a lot of people trade these. So that would be the bullish setup for the day. And in that thinking, this would be the liquidity grab. But make sure if you guys are joining late that you rewind to the first hour where we go over the macro analysis, because that's what's most important. Intraday trade, intraday scalp, price moving from here to here, that's fine. That's a coin flip. Macro trend analysis, how to protect yourself, how to protect your capital, how to hedge up for the larger movements. That's what I want you guys understanding, because those things are far less subjective, far less coin flippy, far less subject to failure rates. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for joining me for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. I've been your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and co-founder around these parts. I hope you guys go on to have an absolutely fantastic day wherever you guys happen to be across this globe. I want you guys to trade safely. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, or death threats, to leave them in the comment section on the YouTube channel after the show. I'll try to get back to you within the next 48 hours. If you guys would like to join the premium trading group, trade with us, have access to our rules, have access to our tools, and utilize our rules. I always get that backwards. Then you guys can take advantage of the Cyber Monday deal. You guys can go to premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com and use coupon code CCBF19-30 to get 30% off any package of your choice. That deal will be live, I think, for the next 30 minutes, maybe? I'm not sure. Might already be over. I might have screwed the pooch on that one. I know I talked about it earlier at the beginning of the show and afterwards. Can't exactly remember when they set that coupon to expire. So if I screwed the pooch on that one, yell at me. I apologize. Other than that, guys, we will be back. Same crypto network, same crypto time, or YouTube time. YouTube, I don't know, one of those. It's one of the thing. It's a thing. We're going to be here. Same time, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow, breaking down the markets, giving you guys our analysis, and just sharing in the revelry of the bulls and the bears with you guys as we do. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time. Trade safely. I will catch you in the next one. Have a good one.